The depth of Football Manager 2022 means we get to embark on coaching careers in some far-flung places. And today we're checking out the best clubs to manage in Slovenia. One of Europe's most attractive nations is also one that has a vibrant football culture. We'll be investigating the clubs that might inspire your next FM22 adventure, from the current champions to the FM rebuilds. So let's dive straight into another League Lowdown. Welcome to another edition of the League Lowdown. This time we're going to be checking out whether Slovenia might inspire your next Football Manager adventure. Let's start by having a look at how the league structure works. Football Manager offers us two playable divisions in Slovenia, both those divisions of contrasting sizes. The top flight is made up of just 10 teams who play each other 4 times over the course of the season to create a 36-game campaign, at the end of which the bottom club are automatically relegated, and the team that come 9th enter a playoff against the team that comes 2nd in the division below, where only the top club is promoted as of right, and of the 16 clubs in this level, 2 of them are going to be relegated to the unplayable divisions in Football Manager. It's that chase for second place that is interesting, as that club enters the playoff with the team that comes 9th from the division above. So that's how the league structure works in Slovenia. Let's check out the clubs that you could manage, starting with the champions. So last season saw a surprise winner of the top flight. The club that won it were Mora, who only in 2018 were playing in the 2nd division. In fact, they got back-to-back promotions. So the season before that, they were playing in the 3rd tier of Slovenian football. Last season was their first ever top flight victory, but they have won the Slovenian Cup a couple of times as well. The first time in 1995 and then more recently in 2020. So they're clearly a well-run club who have won the Cup and the League over the last couple of seasons. They've got a 5,500 capacity stadium by Slovenian standards. That's reasonably large, and their facilities boast good training facilities, average youth facilities, adequate academy coaching, and good youth recruitment. So certainly some infrastructure that you could work with, given that you'd be taking this club into the Champions League. Keeping them as the leading force in Slovenian football would be a challenge, because there's a couple of other clubs that have won multiple titles down the years. A club that's far more used to collecting titles is Maribor. They are from the northeast of Slovenia. They've appeared in the group stages of both the Europa League and the Champions League. They're one of the founder members of the Slovenian League. They've never been relegated out of the top flight, and they're one of just a handful of Slovenian clubs that played in the top division of Yugoslav football. They've won a staggering 15 Slovenian titles since the formation of the league in the early 90s, including a run of 7 in a row between 1997, when they won their first title, and 2003. They've also won the Cup on 9 occasions as well, but last season they were knocked off their perch. In fact, you're going back to 2019 to find the last time they lifted the title. In terms of their facilities, they're incredibly strong. Great training facilities, great youth facilities, good academy coaching, and exceptional youth recruitment. Shows you that you could produce your own players if you were to take charge of Maribor. But first, you'd need to lift them back to the top of Slovenian football, but also take on one of their foes in the process. Maribor contest the eternal derby with Olympia Ljubljana, but whether this is the original Olympia Ljubljana, as their fans might claim, or whether this is a reformation club, is somewhat open to debate. Olympia Ljubljana were one of the greatest teams in Slovenian football. They played in the top division of the Yugoslavian League. They even reached the final of the Yugoslav Cup, where they lost to Red Star Belgrade in one year, but in 2005 they were declared bankrupt. A new club started out in the 5th tier of Slovenian football. They achieved 4 consecutive promotions to make it back to the top flight. Their crest and Football Manager has them listed as being formed in 1911 as a continuation of the original Olympia Ljubljana. Other fans in Slovenia may contest that. What is undeniable is that they have a very neat stadium with a 16,000 capacity. Football Manager has them listed as winning 6 league titles. 4 of those were as the old Olympia Ljubljana, but they've also won it since their reformation in 2016 and 2018. They've also been dominant in the Slovenian Cup over the last few seasons as well, winning it in 2018, 2019 and 2021, as well as 4 times as the old incarnation of Olympia Ljubljana. As you would expect of a capital club, they've got some pretty decent facilities, great training facilities, good youth facilities, good academy coaching, and excellent youth recruitment as well. They are one of a handful of clubs that are contesting that title every year, but there's a couple of other challengers we could look at. A club that were battling relegation last campaign but are towards the top of the table in real life this season are Koper. They hail from a town that's just a few kilometres from the Italian border on Slovenia's small strip of coastline, and they've won the Slovenian title. They've only done it once, and that was back in 2010, but they've had more success in the Cups, winning it in 2006, 2007 and 2015. If a lot of this success for all of these Slovenian clubs seems quite recent, you've got to remember that the Slovenian League has only been in operation since the early 90s. This is not one of the bigger clubs in Slovenian football, but they are one that have achieved some successes. Maybe you could turn them into the nation's dominant team. A similar challenge awaits you at Sharla, who 10 or so years ago were one of the most successful clubs in Slovenia for a short period of time. The trophies have dried up a little bit in recent years. They play at a very compact 2,800 capacity stadium. They've won both the league and the cup twice, doing it back to back in 2007 and 2008. And then a few years later, they won the Slovenian Cup for the first time in 2011, replicating that triumph in 2017. Sharla would certainly be a little bit more of a rebuild club if you were to turn them into a team capable of winning the league every season and competing in Europe. Maybe that's the kind of challenge that you yearn for. Another club in the top flight that have won the title are Sharla, and that title came pretty recently. They've got a really impressive 12,950 capacity stadium, and as well as winning 1 league title, they've also won the Slovenian Cup. They did that in 2005, but the season before last they secured their first ever league title, winning it in 2020. This is a club that certainly has success in its recent past, but only 1 league title and 1 cup to show for their history so far. Maybe you could take the helm and guide them to become Slovenia's dominant force. Or maybe you fancy a little bit more of a rebuild. If we drop into the second tier, we will find just such a project in the form of Gorica, a club that made it as high as the second tier of Yugoslav football since the formation of the Slovenian League. They've managed to win it 4 times. They've got a compact 3,000 capacity stadium nestled into a rather attractive little backdrop. Of their 4 title wins, 3 of them came in a row during a period where they were Slovenia's top side. They won the title in 1996, but then in 04, 05 and 2006. And in addition to that, they've also won the Cup in 2001, 2002 and 2014 as well. But they are now playing in the second tier of Slovenian football. They are certainly a club that has experienced much greater success in their past. To return them to that kind of glory, you'd have to get promotion first before embarking on a spell where you turn them back into a club capable of trying to dominate the Slovenian league. So that completes the League Lowdown guide to Slovenia, a nation where the challenge is to try and guide one of the country's clubs as far as you can in European competition. We'll see you very soon when we make another nation the focus, our next League Lowdown.